Welcome back to the Blue Chip Breakdown, Vols fans. I am your host, Bull, and in today's video, we're going to take a look at a couple of things, starting off with the matchup between the Tennessee Volunteers and the Vanderbilt Commodores. Usually we take one day at a time, look at the offense, then look at the defense, but today we're going to do them both. I just don't think that there's any need to go too far in depth, but we are going to skim over some of the numbers and things like that. But I also want to talk about what I would like to see out of this coaching staff and out of these players for our final regular season game and final home game of this season. Obviously, we've got a lot of guys that this is going to be their last game in Neyland Stadium. This is going to be their last regular season game. Some of these guys are down to only 2 more games, as a college football player or as a football player in general and period. So we're going to take a look at some of those things, some of the underclassmen that I would also like to see in this game and moving forward, what that's going to mean, obviously, for next season, which we are almost, we're halfway turning that page on to next season at this point, but we do have to finish it out strong. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the numbers for Tennessee's offense versus Vanderbilt's defense. All right, so Tennessee's total offense is ranked number 17th in the entire country with 4,825 yards. That's 438.6 yards per game, 6.47 yards per play. Ranked the number 47th scoring team in the entire country with 30 points per game. And Vanderbilt is ranked number 120th in the country in total defense, giving up 4,842 yards, 440.2 yards per game, 6.41 yards per play. And they are ranked the number 123rd team in scoring defense, giving up 35 points per game. Tennessee's rushing offense is ranked number 11th in the country with 2,263 yards on the season, 205.7 yards per game, 5.62 yards per rush, and 18 touchdowns on the ground. Vanderbilt is ranked the number 107th team in the country in rushing defense, giving up 1,936 yards. That's 176 yards per game, 5 yards per carry, and 21 touchdowns given up on the ground. Tennessee is ranked the number 58th passing offense in the entire country with 2,562 yards, 232.9 yards per game, completing 63% of our passes, 17 touchdowns, and have thrown 5 interceptions. We are ranked the number 36th team in the country in sacks allowed, giving up 17 on the season. That's good for 1.5 per game. Vanderbilt is ranked the number 121st pass defense in the country, giving up 2,906 yards on the season, 264.2 yards per game, allowing 69% completions. They've given up 22 touchdowns and they have 12 interceptions. They are also ranked the number 92nd team in the country in sacks. They have 20 on the season, and that's about 1.8 sacks per game. Now on to the final 2 categories. Third down, Tennessee is ranked number 38th in the country, converting third downs at 42.7%, and Vanderbilt is ranked number 120 in the country, allowing 46.7% of third down conversions. All right, red zone, Tennessee is ranked number 77 in the country in red zone offense, converting at 81.8%, 21 touchdowns, 15 field goals on 44 attempts. 12 of those touchdowns are rushing, 9 of them are passing. Vanderbilt is ranked 118 in the country, allowing 91.7% of opponents in the red zone to score, with 27 touchdowns given up, 17 field goals on 48 attempts. 14 of those touchdowns have been rushing, and 13 of those were passing. All right, so looking at those numbers, Tennessee has a very strong edge in every single category as we expected coming into this week. This is a game that Tennessee's offense should be able to impose their will. Now, we do have several players that are either looking to go on to the next level or they're going to be done playing football, period. So you want to make sure that they get their opportunities in this game. Look out for those guys to get a lot of touches and targets throughout. I am going to make a video kind of talking about the guys that are on the fringe of being able to come back and, what we should expect from them and, what the likelihood of them coming back for next season is. But obviously, I really want to see Coach Heupel make sure that he utilizes everyone as much as he possibly can. I want to see him open up the offensive playbook a lot more in these final 2 games. I think that's very important for our future on this football team. Now, we know that we need to get in some true freshmen in the class of 2024. We've got to finish this season out strong. And then, 25 and 26. A lot of these guys are starting to narrow down their college choices. So we've got to make sure that we can, kind of be in that top 10 at least for some of these guys. And, hopefully we can be there in that final stretch for them. Also, obviously, that transfer portal is going to be huge this season. There are a lot of players that we're probably going to be targeting there. Like I said, I am going to come back and talk about who will probably need to be targeting more in that transfer portal based off of who I believe will be coming back next season. But obviously, tight end is going to be a very critical position in this offseason. We only really have one scholarship tight end coming back as a veteran next season, and he has not played at all this season. So, we really want to get him into the game more. I mean, he's played some, but he has not played enough. I would expect for him to get some playing time in this game and get some targets after we've got guys like Jacob Warren and, Callie, their touches out of the way. Obviously, Jalen Wright's going to be another guy that expect for him to get a lot more carries in this game. Did not like the way that he was taken out of the football game last week so early. I think a lot of people have been talking about that. We've got to get him a lot more carries, right? This is probably going to be one of his last games in orange. He is an NFL prospect for sure. So expect him to get some carries early and often. On that offensive line, Ollie Lane is a guy that this is going to be his last time running through that power T. He's going to be done after this season. Expect for him to have a big game. Obviously, we are decimated by injuries on offense. Curious to see if John Campbell is going to play. Spraggs is out for the season, our starting right guard, and Campbell is our starting left tackle. And then, Mincy is also banged up at right tackle. So, we got a guy like Jeremiah Crawford coming in, Dane Davis. Those are two guys that, probably are going to be gone. I believe that Jeremiah Crawford is done after this season. And Dane Davis may have another year, but don't quote me on that. So interested to see how they're going to perform. I think that they played pretty well last week. And, obviously on the outside, we just want to make sure that we are utilizing Joe Milton's, strengths. Throw the football, stretch the field vertically, let him show these NFL scouts what he can do. Hopefully he will play well for us. And obviously that's going to be very important moving forward for, like I said, some of the people who maybe wanted to transfer in, or, some of these freshmen who will be coming into the 2024 class. Some of these guys, again, are going to be on the fence. Can we show them an explosive offense and get them kind of salivating at what they could do in this offense? And with all that being said, most definitely want to see some of Nico Iamaleava towards the end of this game. If not, maybe find some series here and there where we can sneak him in. Again, this is a game that Tennessee should be very, very dominant in. And I'm not really going to highlight any key players on offense or defense for Vanderbilt. I just don't think that it's necessary. We should be very dominant. Let's move on to defense. All right, so Tennessee is ranked number 44 in the country in total defense, allowing 3,878 yards. That's good for 352.5 yards per game and 5.1 yards per play. We are also the number 39th scoring defense in the country, allowing 21.8 points per game. Vanderbilt is ranked number 109 in the country in total offense with 3,521 yards. That's 320 yards per game, 5.2 yards per play, and they are number 123 in the country in terms of a scoring offense, scoring 35 points per game. Tennessee's rush defense is ranked number 24 in the country, allowing 1,287 yards. That's 117 yards per game, 3.24 yards per rush, and we've given up 12 touchdowns on the ground. Vanderbilt is ranked number 122 in rush offense with 1,065 yards, 96.8 yards per game, 3.34 yards per rush, and 9 touchdowns on the ground. Tennessee's pass defense is ranked number 87 in the country, allowing 2,591 yards, 235.5 yards per game, allowing 67% completion and 13 touchdowns. We also have 10 interceptions on the season. We are also ranked number 7th in the entire country in team sacks with 34. That's about 3 sacks per game. Vanderbilt's pass offense is ranked number 68 in the entire country with 2,456 yards, 223.3 yards per game, only completing 54% of their passes. They have 21 touchdowns and they have thrown 12 interceptions. Now their offensive line is ranked number 80th in the entire country in sacks allowed with 25 on the season. That's 2.27 sacks per game. All right, so third down, Tennessee is ranked the number 69th team in the country on defense on third down conversions, allowing 39.5%. Vanderbilt is ranked number 111th in the country, converting at 33.8%. Tennessee's red zone defense is ranked number 95 in the country, allowing 86.5%. And we have given up 20 touchdowns, 12 field goals on 32 attempts. Half of those touchdowns have been rushing and half of them have been passing, so that's 10 and 10. Vanderbilt's red zone offense is ranked number 118th in the entire country, converting at 74.2%, 27 touchdowns, 17 field goals on 48 attempts. 14 of those touchdowns are rushing, 13 are passing. All right, so for Tennessee's defense, I think that we may have more guys who have some NFL stock on this side, especially a guy like Tyler Barron. he's a guy that I think, he could be like a second or third round guy. Again, we're going to touch on this a lot more. It really is all going to depend on how he finishes out this season and what he does at like a Senior Bowl or at the Combine, and or he's going to have to do well at both of those places for him to really get his draft stock up. But I think that he could potentially work himself into the end of that second round if he finishes really, really strong here. So that's a guy to look out for to have a really big game. Outside of that, I just think that our defense should be very dominant. Up against this offense, it's very bland. They do kind of mix some things up. I would say that it's a, more creative offense than what we've seen from Vanderbilt in previous seasons, but they just do not have the horses to be able to, put up the points that you would expect for them to make this into a competitive game. At least it should not be that way, for very long at all. So definitely looking out for what Tim Banks is going to do. Like I talked about in that Georgia week and really the, previous 3 to 4 weeks, I have not liked his game plans on defense necessarily. He does a really good job of trying to stop one phase of a team's offense, but he's got to learn to be able to put together a complete package, a total game plan, and he just has not done that for quite some time now, for probably about a month or two. So I really want to see that out of him. Third down is going to be a big place, not only for this defense, but for the offense too. I think that Tim Banks is a guy that his seat's got to be starting to get heated up just a taste, because again, there's absolutely no reason for all of the conversions on third down, especially last week whenever we went through an entire week of looking at film and we was like, well, this is what Georgia's going to do. And, they did it and we had absolutely no answer for it. And it's not like it was a difficult thing to at least try to stop. We almost literally did the exact opposite of what you would want to do in those situations. So Coach Banks is going to have a really good game moving forward this week and next week. Obviously, we've got a lot of fringe guys on defense as well that could be, moving on to the next level or could be done playing football. So look out for them to, get a lot of opportunity. I would like to see some more of a guy like Jeremiah Thielander in this game. Elijah Herring has been a liability at linebacker. I think that in the offseason, they will probably try to transition him back to the defensive line, especially if some of these underclassmen at linebacker can, turn into something that gives us enough depth. Also look out for a guy like Keenan Pili. Again, this is kind of looking forward, but look for a guy like Keenan Pili possibly to come back next season. It's going to be really huge to see in this offseason what he decides to do. But if he comes back, obviously moving forward, we should have a much stronger defense than what we had this year. This is going to be Aaron Beasley's last year. Expect for him to get some more blitzes, expect for us to really highlight his gameplay and, hopefully he can finish strong. I think that, again, there are a few guys there on defense that are draftable. Expect to see a few of these younger guys get some burn in some positions where we need to figure out what are we going to be doing next year. I think that the defense should look really good in this one overall. All right, so looking at the numbers on offense and defense, Tennessee should be very, very dominant in this game. Haven't watched a ton of film on Vanderbilt, but from what I have seen, we look like we should be able to physically dominate in every single phase of this football game. Expect for our guys that are going on to the next level, or this is their last game on offense, defense, and special teams, to get a lot of opportunities to really show out in front of the fans and scouts, etc., etc. If you are going to the game or if you're considering going, please do so. I think that would be a great look for this football team. Some of these guys have been here through 3 different coaches. So, they've given their all for Tennessee. And, I think that it would be great for us to send them out the proper way. And I know that the best fan base in the entire nation will not fail them. So thank y'all so much for tuning into this video. Please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans. And we'll catch y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.